According to the National Center for Education Statistics, 20% of public schools require school uniforms. But with so many schools requiring a strict uniform dress code, how many improvements have uniforms actually caused? The issue of whether or not school uniforms should be required has been an ongoing debate for years. Schools have been slowly moving towards standardizing students' clothing, but there are few results to back up the claims that pro-uniform people are making. I believe that enforcing standardized uniforms in school will not make any educational improvement. Many believe that uniforms will reduce bullying. However, evidence shows otherwise. Schools are continuously moving towards school uniform mandates, and this presents a new list of issues. Standardizing school uniforms will cause a lack of self-expression and will lead students to having less responsibilities to learn and develop from. As a newly graduated high school student, I've been directly affected by clothing choice in school. A uniform mandate was a popular debate subject between peers, and I've heard both sides of the argument from administrators and students. When looking into the small effect uniforms have had on bullying, the issues with enforcing school uniforms, and the issues students have with them, it just doesn't seem to make sense to require all students to wear the same thing. Now that you have a general idea of why I'm against enforcing school uniforms, let us look at some more specific examples. Some people think uniforms will prevent bullying. However, this simply is not the case. Bullies will look for anything to critique. So if everyone wears the same clothing, they will look for something else to make fun of. When asked if school uniforms prevent bullying, Carolyn Doyle responded by saying, "I've spent 8 years in several different private schools. I spent 6 of those years in a strict uniform, and I can safely say that uniforms do not prevent kids from bullying. Teachers assume that if everyone wears the same thing, no one can make fun of each other for what they wear. That may be true, but your clothes are not who you are. Uniforms can't hide your personality. Being bullied is just as likely when you are in a uniform as when you aren't in uniform. Not only do uniforms have little to no effect on bullying, but it also causes issues for the administration. If school uniforms are implemented, schools will have to find a uniform distributor, choose the style and color of the uniforms, and then distribute them to the students. This all distracts from the administrators from other important duties. Uniforms can also be a distraction for the students. According to Washington Renita, the writer of Controversy, The True Effectiveness of School Uniforms, students were clearly not a big fan of uniforms. They are arguing these uniforms can be uncomfortable and the students have lost individuality. One thing that I remember from high school is the temperature fluctuation throughout the building. Even when it was 80 degrees or more outside, I would still bring a jacket to school because some classrooms were unbearably cold. With the implementation of school uniforms, the students would have no ability to adapt to the changing temperatures, and it's extremely difficult to stay focused when all you can think about is how uncomfortable you are. Students are the ones directly impacted by uniforms, so I think we should listen to what they have to say. According to a study done by University of Nevada, in 3 middle schools that they interviewed, 90% of the students reported that they did not like wearing school uniforms. This, to me, is enough to believe that school uniforms are causing a distraction for students. In a national survey of 10th graders, a sociology professor at Virginia Tech found no effects of uniforms on absenteeism, behavioral problems, or substance use on campuses, and no effects on pro-school attitudes, academic preparedness, and peer attitudes towards school. Now that you know the lack of effectiveness and issues caused by school uniforms, let us look at how we can prevent them from being implemented. One thing we can do to help prevent the issue of school uniforms being implemented is to have conversations about it with your peers. Not many people are informed on the ineffectiveness of school uniforms, so make sure they are well informed before they form an opinion. Another way we can help is to participate in school decisions whenever possible. Some schools send out surveys to get the opinion of parents, and if you are a parent or know a parent, make sure participation is as high as possible. You might think that your participation means very little, but if everyone thought this way, the survey could end up being horribly inaccurate. So make sure you participate in school decisions whenever you can. Lastly, don't be afraid to talk to the people that make decisions for the school. If you have a concern like how school uniforms could affect the students, make sure you voice your opinion to someone on the school board. Now that you know what you can do, let us look at what could happen if school uniforms are implemented and what could be prevented if they are not mandated. Self-expression is very important in developing children, and school uniforms are threatening to take that away. Imagine this. You're a kid again, and you just got back from a concert. You bought a t-shirt there, and you cannot wait to show it to all of your friends. You wear it to school, and all of your friends love it. As you're walking through the halls, you get compliments from people saying they also love that band and your shirt. Now, imagine if you couldn't wear that shirt. You walk into school and everyone's wearing the same uniform. There's no form of individuality. No one can show what they really enjoy because no one can wear anything other than the bland, monotonous school uniform. That does not sound like something I would want. Now that I've discussed what schools with and without uniform mandates look like, let us examine what to do. Remember, 20% of public schools already require uniforms, so we need to do our part to prevent any more schools from implementing them. I believe that enforcing standardized uniforms in school have not made any educational improvement. Implementing them has not made a difference in bullying, they are causing distractions, and students do not like them, largely due to the prevention of self-expression. Do not forget, if you get the chance, explain to your peers the harm school uniforms can cause. If you have an opportunity to participate in school decisions on uniforms, take it. If you feel strongly about implementing school uniforms, let someone know that can weigh in on the school's decisions. Let your voice be heard. Thank you.